An Australian woman woke up after surgery with a thick Irish accent. A man locked his head inside a cage to quit smoking. And the owners of a bakery printed a burglary suspect's picture on their cookies. These are the weird stories for Wednesday on Weird AF News, the only daily weird news podcast hosted by a comedian. I have some weird news from around the world. Come on. An Australian woman had tonsil surgery, and she woke up with an Irish accent. 27-year-old dentist got in the shower the other morning. She started singing, something that she always did in the shower. Yeah, we always sing in the shower. It's a nice place to do it, especially if you have a terrible voice, because it somehow, for some reason, sounds amazing. Well, this dentist was singing, and she was completely shocked by the sound that came out of her throat. Instead of her normal Australian accent, Miss Yen was stunned to hear a foreign accent that to her sounded very Irish. Here's a quote from her. "When I started singing, I was singing in a different sound. Also, talking words in a funny accent. Not like my other accent, my normal accent." She panicked, Miss Yen. She phoned one of her friends, who was in disbelief that it was even her on the phone. What was this sudden accent change? "Well, my friend told me. Sent me links later about foreign accent syndrome. He had watched some videos on the YouTube years ago. This is a real thing. Your accent can shift." This is pretty crazy, this foreign accent syndrome. I mean, it would be fun for a weekend, but not for your life. The other thing that's strange, that just strikes me with the story, is that she's Asian as well. That just adds another whole flavor to the whole, it just adds a twist to it, you know? I mean, I've never even met an Asian woman with an Australian or an Irish accent. Never mind an Asian woman who had an Australian accent on Thursday, but on Friday had an Irish accent all of a sudden. Now, she was fearing that perhaps she was about to or may have had a stroke, which is a possible cause of foreign accent syndrome. So she went back to the hospital. She was showing no signs of illnesses, though. She was discharged and told to go home and rest. "They couldn't do anything. I was normal. I just sounded different. And they said, you're still healing from your surgery, so maybe your vocal cords are damaged somewhat." Well, Miss Yen had gotten her tonsils removed on April 19th, as a matter of fact. A very simple procedure that took just about a half an hour. Her ear, nose, and throat specialist also suggested that Miss Yen wait to see if her voice change disappeared on its own over weeks. But as the days and weeks wore on, Miss Yen said her new accent didn't go away. It left her friends and family in complete disbelief. Of course it did. You know, one day you're talking like this, you go under the knife, you know, you go under the knife, you get an accent like this, right? And then the next day you're talking like this with the knife. You come out of it like this. Very strange, you know, because before you were like, you know, you go under the knife, right, like this, right? Right? And then you're like this for some reason. Give me a Guinness. I'd like a Guinness, all right? All of a sudden, I'd like a Guinness. Most of my friends who laughed at me, she said. Most of my friends thought I might even be faking it. But after a while, they realized I'm not joking, because there's no way you pretend in an accent for 2 or 3 days. Even in a normal conversation, you just don't do it. Well, 2 days after waking up with her foreign accent, Miss Yen decided to make a TikTok account and go public about her journey with this new accent. Yeah, because everybody needs to know. Your whole life's got to go on the TikTok. Miss Yen said she was motivated to share her experience after seeing how people with foreign accent syndrome get treated as though it's a joke. Yeah, she's right. And, you know, so maybe this TikTok account is actually a pretty good idea. It can offer, you know, some relief to other people who also suffer, and they can know that they're not alone out there, because it's got to be a strange thing to have happen to you. She says, "I can 100% connect with these other people and know that they are know what they're feeling, because I feel so lost, because it's so rare, you know. But I hope by using TikTok to spread awareness that hopefully one day people know if you wake up with a foreign accent or a weird sounding accent in general, that you go straight to a hospital. There's something wrong in your brain that needs to be looked at, and it's not just something funny that you laugh about, you know, it's quite serious." It's now been a long time since Miss Yen woke up to her foreign accent. It hasn't gone away. She is now completely convinced she has foreign accent syndrome. She is struggling to accept her new accent, but is very thankful for the support of her loved ones. I'm very lucky to have very supportive friends and family, so whether there's anything wrong in my head, I don't know. If they find something, hopefully there's a cure or a treatment for it of some sort. Well, just be thankful it's an Irish accent. I mean, there's so many other bad accents out there that you could get. And there's, what's a bad accent? I can't stand the Southern California accent. Oh, did you get a latte, bro? Oh, so annoying. Bro, order me a latte, bro. Hey, bro, did you take out the garbage, bro? Oh, kill yourself. It's the worst accent ever. If you were going to assassinate people per annoying accent, line them all up by annoying accents, I think the SoCal, bro, that's the first to go. That's even more annoying than the German accent. And none of us likes the German accent. None of us like it. It's very distasteful. And even that, I'd rather hear over the, get a latte, bro. Can I get a caramel latte, bro? Frappuccino? Bro, did you take out the garbage, man? This is the worst. If she was very lucky, she'd get that Boston accent that we all love. Oh, that's friggin' charming, ain't it, guys? A man locked his head inside a cage to stop smoking. People will go to all different lengths to cut down on habits. Whether it's locked jars to limit snacking, hypnotherapy to stop fingernail biting, or deleting your fast food apps, we've all been there. Some are definitely more extreme than others. Take this man, for example, who wore a cage on his head in a bid to quit smoking. Ibrahim Yücel from Kütahya in Turkey had been smoking for over 2 decades when he was locked up and prevented from physically putting a cigarette in his mouth. According to the reports, he was inspired by motorbike riders wearing helmets and used 130 feet of copper wire to make his own helmet to quit smoking. Of course, motorbike riders can remove their helmet at any time, but Ibrahim went a little bit further. He locked the cage and gave his family the key to his head guard to keep him from smoking. Yeah, I mean, he's in this cage wrapped around his head. He can't even touch his face. This decision came after Ibrahim released he'd been smoking 2 packs of cigarettes every single day since he was 16, but when his own father passed away from lung cancer, Ibrahim knew it was time to stop for his own health, and he wanted to also watch his family grow old. He wanted to live himself. He needed help. The helmet was designed to be similar to a birdcage, and every morning Ibrahim would head off to work, but not before leaving the key to his contraption with his wife and his children. I must wonder if this story's really real. I mean, there's a photo of this guy in the cage. Looks like he's walking to work. He's got a shirt and tie on and a cage over his head. His coworkers must be very supportive. I assume he's not working in face-to-face customer service. I mean, your bank teller can't have a cage over their head, right? You can't. There's a lot of jobs you can't have with a cage over your head. You can't be a telemarketer because you just can't even get that phone up to your ear, really. There's a lot of things you can't do with a cage over your head. You can't really drive a car. There's no being a taxi driver with this cage over your head or a bus driver. You got no periphery vision. According to the International Business Times, Ibrahim's previous attempts to kick the smoking habit have always failed, which was why his wife was supporting him, despite being initially embarrassed by the prospect of her husband wearing a cage over his head all day. Yeah, this poor lady. But maybe he'll quit in 6 months, and this will just be a thing. It's a phase. You guys can look back on it and laugh. Ha ha! Remember that time you wore a cage on your head and you couldn't go to Six Flags that summer? There was no swimming because you can't really you can't get into a pool or the ocean with a heavy cage over your head. You'll just sink to the bottom. It's believed that Ibrahim could eat crackers through the wires. Well, that's nice. There's some positives here. Ooh, we can sip on water through a straw, but not much else. Oh man, we could have iced coffee through the bars. I'm sure, maybe a smoothie. Although, if you can fit a straw through there, can't you fit a very long cigarette? It says here he has to unlock the cage to have proper meals. But if you give the key to your lady and then you go to work, who's going to unlock the cage for your work time lunch break, buddy? Ibrahim's story and pictures have recently resurfaced, apparently. Somebody wrote a response to this saying, extreme problems require extreme actions. I support this guy. Yeah. I know, but what happens if he has an itchy nose, man? Like, think about this. There's got to be better ways to quit smoking than putting a cage over your head. Or one of those, some like scuba gear. If you get a moment, just Google this story and look at the photo. It's pretty damn hilarious. The lengths that people go to achieve goals, though, you got to hand it to them. It's a commitment. You like podcasts? You're listening to my podcast. Maybe you thought to yourself, I'd like to make a podcast. Too difficult. No, not with Anchor. Anchor has free creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast from your phone or your computer. Anchor distributes your podcast to Apple, Spotify, Stitcher, and more. They have advertising integration, so you can even make a little money off your podcast. Everything you need to make a podcast in one place. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. And good luck with your podcast. Good luck with your creation. Good luck with your life, man. The owners of a bakery have printed a burglary suspect's picture on some sugar cookies to help catch the burglar. The owners of the Canfora Bakery in Milwaukie, Wisconsin are a couple of smart cookies, this article says, very punny. The Canfora Bakery, also known as the Lakeside Bakery, was burglarized on April 19th by an unidentified suspect who fled into the night with some cash and some bakery equipment. What kind of person are you? You steal bakery equipment? It's a little tiny shop trying to make some sugar cookies for the community, maybe some croissants if they're feeling a little frisky. And here you are, stealing their cash and equipment. This is terrible. Shame on you, sir. I assume it's a sir. Only an evil man would steal bakery equipment from a small business owner. Ridiculous. Owners of the bakery, Karen and Eric, didn't have much to go on, but what they did have was an image of the suspect captured by the security cameras. Here's a quote from the bakers. So we made delicious sugar cookies and we put his image on them, huh? The idea, as Karen told the media, was to see if the community could identify the suspect by eating our cookies. It's pretty brilliant. We invite the community to come on in and take a bite out of the thief while supplies last, they wrote on their Facebook post. Followers were urged to contact the Milwaukie PD with any knowledge of the suspect's identity if they recognized him on the cookie, the delicious sugar cookie. A friend of mine named Gary Goldman once had a joke, said, what's with sugar cookies? Every cookie is a sugar cookie. A cookie without sugar is a cracker. If you guys have never watched Gary Goldman, just go on YouTube. Just a phenomenal comedian, joke writer. He's just fabulous. I love that guy. Back to the story. The idea almost immediately worked as the bakery's Facebook post soon began generating tips from locals who said they recognized this guy on the cookie. See? Wow, this is fabulous. Who needs the police when you got a bakery? You could just... It's kind of like a printing press, in a way. Now, although the thief on the cookie was recognized, unfortunately, as of Monday, there had been no arrests made. Fans of the bakery were nevertheless impressed with their criminally clever idea. I've heard of wanted pictures put on pizza boxes, but I've never heard of a perp's picture being put on some baked goods. Very creative in that aspect. I bet the cops had a good laugh at the picture and would cheerfully share pictures of other perps that they wanted very badly to be put on some cookies and baked goods as well. That was from some Facebook user who seems a big fan of the idea. I am too. Sometimes you just got to use your goods to get your message out there. Like Dr. Bronner. You guys know all about Dr. Bronner and putting his scripture on the side of his products? They're still on there. Buy a bottle of Dr. Bronner's liquid soap and read all about God on the side of it while you're on the toilet. That's what I do. Oh, thank you so much for listening to another episode of Weird AF News. I appreciate all of you so very much. Your loyal support is not taken for granted. I want to give some love to someone who reached out to me on Facebook. It's Michelle from Jersey. She wanted to remind me that her and her man John Smirtneck are big-time fans of the show, And she said that John is actually graduating culinary school today. He's going to be a certified chef. She wanted me to give a shout out to John. So shout out to John Smirtnek, who is now a certified chef in Jersey. I guess that means you'll be able to make an amazing sandwich. Because when I think of Jersey, I think of sandwiches for some reason. Sandwiches and diners. Please don't tell me you graduated from culinary school to work at a Jersey diner, John. I'm sure you're on to bigger things than that. Congratulations to you, my man. And thank you to you and Michelle for being fans of the show. I appreciate you. I hope you'll listen for the foreseeable future. Foreseeable future? I mean forever, really is what I mean. You guys can always reach out to me if you'd like a shout out of some sort. It's got to be something cool that you did, though, like graduated culinary school. That's pretty cool. Or maybe you got out of prison. That's pretty cool, too. Or maybe your rash cleared up. You want to call and let me know about that, and I'll give you a shout out on the show. The email is funnyjones@gmail.com, or you can reach out to me on Instagram @funnyjones as well. And call the show if any of these stories, made something happen inside you, and you'd like to happen inside your mind, and you want to share it. 646-450-2012. As always, we have a Patreon if you'd like to really go bananas with your support and really take it to a new level. It's patreon.com/weirdafnews. And for a couple bucks a month, you can support a daily weird news podcast. One of a kind, the only one. And also you get extra Weird AF content, so that's pretty cool as well. So check out the Patreon. You can also get to the Patreon through the link on my website, weirdafnews.com. Check that out. Or you can buy me a cup of coffee from there. Or you can just tell a friend about the show. There's a lot of ways to help out. Or just do nothing. Do nothing. Be you. Go about your day and don't even think of me. That's okay, too.